My fiancé spent all of the wedding savings on a gaming PC for her ex because he was depressed, so I canceled everything and karma delivered. All right, Reddit, so my fiancé drained my $9,000 wedding fund, claiming it was for her friend's mom's cancer treatment. It turned out she bought her ex-boyfriend a full gaming setup instead. I sued them both, won everything back. Grab popcorn and enjoy the chaos. So I, 29 male, have been with my fiancée Kimberly, 27 female, for 3 years. I thought everything was solid. We got engaged last October and started planning the wedding for next spring. Standard stuff. We opened a joint savings account for wedding expenses. The plan was I'd contribute most of the funds since I made more, and she'd chip in what she could. Turns out what she could chip in was about 10% while I covered the other 90%. Every month I'd drop my contribution like clockwork. Kimberly's contributions were sporadic at best. Some months she'd put in $50. Other months nothing. Always had an excuse ready. Car trouble. Emergency vet bill for her sister's cat, and so on. I didn't make a big deal out of it. Also, her dad insisted on contributing to the wedding costs. The savings account was supposed to be for the honeymoon and the other expenses. Kimberly wanted Greece. 5-star resort, all inclusive. Over 8 months, I managed to stack about $9,000 in that account. Kimberly contributed maybe $800 total across the entire period. Relationships are about partnership, right? Sometimes one person carries more weight. I thought we'd balance out eventually. The wedding was set for early April. Everything was planned. Her dad had dropped serious money on the venue, already paid deposits everywhere. My parents were handling the rehearsal dinner. All I had to do was keep stacking money for the honeymoon and show up in a suit. Then, mid-February happened. I was checking the savings account to see if we could upgrade our Greece resort. Maybe get an ocean view room instead of a garden view. Logged in during my lunch break, pulled up the balance, and my stomach dropped. $0.47. I stared at my phone screen trying to make sense of it. Had to be a mistake. Some kind of banking error. Maybe the app was glitching. I closed it. I opened it again. Still zero. Refreshed the page 3 more times like that would somehow change reality. Still zero. My hands started shaking. I checked the transaction history, scrolling through months of deposits. All my contributions are sitting there in a neat little list. Then, one withdrawal. February 12th, 2 days ago. Exactly $9,000. Transferred to an external account I didn't recognize. Some random account number that meant nothing to me. The transfer memo just said, personal, nothing else. I called Kimberly. Voicemail. Texted her. Nothing. Tried again. Still nothing. My buddy Kevin was at lunch with me. Saw my face and asked what was wrong. Someone cleaned out our wedding account, I said. Like fraud? I don't know. Transaction shows it was authorized by an account holder. Could Kimberly have moved it somewhere safer? Without telling me? Kevin made a face. Call the bank. I did. They confirmed the transfer was legitimate. Authorized by Kimberly 2 days ago. All proper verification completed. The money was gone. I left work early. Drove home. Kimberly wasn't there. I checked her location on Find My Friends. Something we'd set up for safety. She was at some restaurant across town I'd never heard of. Having a late lunch apparently. I sat on the couch and waited. She got home around 6. Walked in singing some song, happy as could be. Saw me sitting there with my laptop open, and her smile faded. Hey, you're home early, she said. We need to talk. About what? About the $9,000 that disappeared from our account. Her face went completely white, then red. Then she got defensive immediately, which told me everything I needed to know. I can explain. Yeah, you better. She sat down on the edge of the armchair, wouldn't look directly at me. Started talking fast, real fast, words tumbling out like she'd rehearsed this whole speech. Her friend Harper was apparently going through some crisis. Harper's mom got diagnosed with cancer, stage 3. Treatment was expensive and insurance wasn't covering everything. Harper was drowning in medical bills and couldn't afford the co-pays for chemotherapy. Kimberly painted herself as some kind of hero, made it sound like she'd literally saved someone's life. I asked if she'd given my money to Harper. She called it a loan, said Harper would pay it back. $9,000 for cancer treatment. But she'd done it without asking me first because she knew I'd say no. She was right about that part. I would have said no. We had a wedding in 2 months, and that money was for our future. She tried the dying mother angle. What was she supposed to do? Just let someone die? Not steal from our joint account would have been a solid start. She stood up then. Got all defensive, arms crossed over her chest like she was the victim here. Started going on about how it wasn't stealing when it was her account too. How she wasn't going to let her friend's mom die when she had the ability to help. Real Saint Complex energy. I asked to see the loan paperwork. The agreement, terms, repayment schedule, interest rate, all the legal stuff that makes something an actual loan instead of a gift. She looked at me like I'd asked her to produce a unicorn, said they had a verbal agreement. Harper knew she owed her. Nothing in writing. Based on trust, apparently. That made me laugh. Couldn't help it. Trust. Coming from someone who just took $9 grand without saying a word. She accused me of being cruel. Said this was about someone's life. I pointed out this was about her making major financial decisions behind my back. Decisions that affected both of us. With money I earned. She tried turning it around. Made it about me throwing my income in her face. So I laid out the math for her. She'd contributed less than 10% of that account across 8 months. The rest was mine. That meant she'd just handed over my contributions to her friend for a made-up emergency I'd never heard mentioned even once. She went quiet. Had no response to basic facts. I asked when Harper's mom got diagnosed. A few weeks ago, apparently. Funny how she hadn't mentioned it once in those few weeks. Hadn't seemed stressed about it. Hadn't been crying or worried or asking anyone for help. Just went behind my back and took the money. She said that's because she knew I'd react like this. Like someone who just got robbed. Yeah, she was right about that too. I grabbed my keys and left. Went to Kevin's place. Told him the whole story. He sat there getting progressively more suspicious. Something doesn't add up, Kevin said. I told him that I agree because if her friend's mom really had cancer and needed help, Kimberly would have been talking about it nonstop. She would have been stressed, crying, asking everyone for help. Instead, she's been normal this whole time. Happy even. So you think she's lying? I think I should do some digging. I stayed at Kevin's that night. Told Kimberly I needed space. She sent back paragraphs about how I was being heartless and unsupportive, how I didn't understand what it meant to be there for people in crisis, how disappointed she was in my lack of compassion. The next morning I went back to the apartment while Kimberly was at work. I needed answers. Needed to know if this Harper story was even real. Started going through her stuff. Not proud of it, but I wasn't about to let this slide without knowing the truth. Found her laptop in the bedroom, still logged into her Facebook. Opened her messages, looking for conversations with Harper. Figured if this medical emergency was real, there'd be evidence. Planning messages, worry, updates about treatments, something. Found nothing. No recent messages with anyone named Harper. Scrolled back weeks. Nothing about cancer or medical bills or emergencies. Then I saw messages at the top of her inbox. Someone named Tyler. Messages from 2 days ago, right after the money transfer. I clicked on them. My stomach dropped for the second time in 2 days. They'd been talking for 4 months. 4 entire months of daily conversations. Good morning texts, good night texts, random memes, inside jokes, the whole relationship playbook. I scrolled through weeks of messages trying to understand what I was looking at. Tyler talking about his life, his job problems, his dating struggles, his childhood trauma. Kimberly playing therapist, cheerleader, girlfriend, all rolled into one. Lots of, you deserve better, and you're going to get through this, and I believe in you. Then I found the message from 3 weeks ago. Tyler mentioned wanting a gaming PC but not being able to afford one. Said his friend had this amazing setup and he was jealous. Wished he could afford something like that but money was tight. Her response came 2 hours later. Let me see what I can do. I kept scrolling. Found the message from February 10th, 2 days before she took the money. Tyler had sent her a link to some gaming PC build. All the specs listed out. Total cost was around $7,000 for the tower alone, plus monitors, desk, chair, accessories. The whole setup came to about $8,500. Her response? I'm getting you that setup. You need something good in your life right now. You've been through so much and you deserve this. His response? Are you serious? That's incredible. I don't even know what to say. You're amazing, Kimberly. Seriously. You're the best person I know. Her response? Anything for you. I mean it. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling my blood pressure rise. She'd lied straight to my face. Made up an entire story about Harper's mom having cancer. Used sympathy and guilt to justify stealing from me. Also, she could buy her ex-boyfriend a gaming computer. Because that's who Tyler was. I kept reading and found references to their past. College sweethearts. Dated for 2 years. He'd apparently been her first serious relationship, the one that got away, and she'd been reconnecting with him for months while planning a wedding to me. Found where she sent him the money. Venmo transfer. $9,000. His response was 3 heart emojis, and I don't know what I did to deserve you, but I'm so grateful you're in my life. Then came the messages after he got the money. Pictures of boxes arriving. Computer parts spread out on his floor. Him building the setup. The finished product all lit up with RGB lights. His gaming chair. His desk. His monitors. Everything funded by my money. and Kimberly eating it all up, telling him how happy she was for him, how proud she was, how he deserved all of it. Then I found the message that made me want to destroy her. Tyler messaged her, "When do I get to see you again? Feels like forever since we hung out. Want to come over and check out the setup in person?" Her response? "Soon. Things are complicated right now, but we'll figure it out. I promise." Things are complicated, meaning me. I was the complication standing between her and whatever fantasy she was building with this guy. I took screenshots of everything, every message that mattered, sent them all to myself. Then I called my cousin Brandon, who does contract law. "Need some legal advice," I said. I explained the situation, the theft, the lies, the ex-boyfriend, all of it. Brandon listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment. "Joint account means she had authorization technically. But wait, hold on. You said she told you it was for medical expenses? Made up an entire story about her friend's mom having cancer." Brandon went quiet. I could hear him thinking, that changes everything. That's fraud. "Look, this isn't my area, but I know someone who handles this stuff. Civil litigation guy. He's good. Let me make some calls." 2 days later, I was sitting in a lawyer's office downtown. Guy's name was Mitchell. Brandon had sent him everything already. Mitchell walked me through it. The cancer lie was the key. She deliberately deceived me to prevent me from stopping the transfer. That's textbook fraud, plus conversion of my contributions and unjust enrichment since she gave it to a third party. Can we go after Tyler? Possibly. He received funds he should have known weren't freely given. The messages show she told him she'd see what she could do, which implies it wasn't her money. We can include him for unjust enrichment. Make him return the value of everything purchased. Something shifted in my chest. Wasn't about getting back at them anymore. It was about getting back what was mine. What do I need to do? Get me every screenshot, every bank statement, every message. We'll file in civil court this week. Small claims won't cover this amount. We sue them both. Kimberly for fraud and conversion. Tyler for unjust enrichment. They'll either settle or we take it to trial. How long does this take? Realistically, 4 to 6 months minimum if they fight. Could be 8 or more. Depends on their lawyers and the court schedule. Discovery alone takes time. But with your evidence, you've got a strong case. I sent Mitchell everything that night. Every screenshot, every transaction record, every message thread. He compiled it into a legal demand letter that went out a week later. Certified mail to both Kimberly and Tyler. Kimberly showed up at the apartment 2 days after getting served. Didn't knock. Just used her key and barged in like she owned the place. I was on the couch working from home when she stormed into the living room. "You're suing me?" she said. Not asked. Said. Like I'd committed some unforgivable crime. I closed my laptop. Looked at her. "Hey, Kimberly. Nice of you to show up. Are you out of your mind? You can't sue me?" "Already did. Papers got served. You should have gotten them by now." Her face went red. "We're engaged. You can't sue your fiancé." "Ex-fiancé. And turns out I absolutely can. Fraud's fraud. This is insane. I made one mistake and you're trying to destroy my life." I laughed. Actually laughed. Couldn't help it. "One mistake? Kimberly, you've been texting your ex for 4 months. You took everything we saved, made up a fake cancer patient, planned to keep lying. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern. I didn't steal anything. It was a joint account. Joint account I funded. You gave my contributions to buy your ex a gaming setup. Want to argue semantics?" She crossed her arms. Got that defensive stance she always did when she knew she was wrong, but refused to admit it. Tyler needed help. He was going through a rough time. I was being a good person. I understand perfectly. You wanted to impress your ex. Play hero. Make him think you're this amazing, generous person. Use my money to fund your little fantasy. Then when I caught you, you made up the most disgusting lie you could think of to make me feel guilty for questioning it. It wasn't like that. Really? Because I've got screenshots that say different. Want me to read them out loud? I've got them memorized at this point. Anything for you. You deserve this. When do I get to see you again? Should I keep going? Her face went white, then immediately red again. Anger replacing the shock. You went through my private messages? That's a violation of my privacy. Here's what's going to happen, I said calmly. You're going to walk out that door. Find somewhere else to stay. Maybe Tyler's got room. Then you're going to get a lawyer. Fight the lawsuit if you want. But you'll lose. Mitchell's already told me we've got a solid case. This is my apartment too. My name's on the lease. Yours isn't. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. You told me I was on the lease. I said you could stay here. Never put your name on the paperwork. But you've been here long enough that legally you're a tenant, which means I have to give you proper notice. 30 days. You've got a month to figure out your living situation. You're kicking me out? Official eviction notice is already drafted. You can leave now and make it easy. Or wait and make it complicated. Your choice. She started crying then. Real tears. The kind she used to use when she wanted me to fold on something. How can you be so cruel? Tyler was depressed. He needed that. Then she started begging for me to drop the lawsuit. I told her that she's going to stand in front of a judge and explain why you committed fraud. Going to have a judgment on your record. Going to learn that actions have consequences. You're enjoying this, she screamed. You're getting off on punishing me. She wiped her face. Mascara everywhere. Looked around the apartment like she was seeing it for the first time. Or the last time. Asked where she was supposed to go. I told her that wasn't my problem. Suggested she call Tyler. Or maybe call her parents. That's when her face went completely white. Asked if her dad knew. I confirmed he knew everything. Every screenshot, every message, every lie. Told her he'd called her some pretty unflattering things during our conversation earlier that week. Oh, and he'd canceled the wedding. Venue, caterer, DJ, flowers, all of it. Done. Her legs actually buckled. She grabbed the back of the couch to steady herself. Started saying something about me ruining her life. I told her she had 30 days, but strongly suggested she start packing today. She tried the sympathy angle. Said she needed time. Nowhere to go. I shrugged. Legal notice would be delivered by end of week. Clock started then. She could use the time however she wanted. She stood there another few seconds just staring at me, probably hoping I'd crack. I didn't. She walked to the bedroom. I heard some movement. Drawers opening. Then she came back out with her purse. Stopped at the door. Told me I'd regret this. She walked out. Slammed the door so hard the frame shook. I could hear her footsteps fade as she walked to the elevator. I sat back down on the couch. Pulled out my phone. Texted Mitchell that she'd been served and was aware of the lawsuit. She'd threatened to fight, but seemed shaken. He responded a few minutes later. Said good. Let her get a lawyer. Discovery would take time, but we had the evidence. I got myself some water. Put on a game. First peaceful moment I'd had in weeks. Life was looking up. Tyler's response came through Mitchell 2 weeks later. His lawyer sent a letter. Tyler was denying everything. Claiming the money was a gift. No obligation to return it. Said Kimberly had told him it was her money to give. They were going to fight. Mitchell called me. Tyler's playing hardball. His lawyer's arguing gift exemption. Says Tyler had no reason to believe the funds weren't freely given. This is going to drag out. How long? Months. Maybe 6 to 8 before we see a courtroom. We'll need to do depositions. Discovery. The whole process. And he's hired a decent lawyer. What about Kimberly? She lawyered up too. Different firm. They're coordinating their defenses. This won't be quick. Great. Exactly what I wanted. Months of legal battles while my money stayed gone. Kimberly tried to get me to drop it. Showed up at my work 2 weeks later. Security wouldn't let her up to my floor, but she waited in the lobby. I had to have building security escort her out. She sent emails after that. Long ones. Explaining her side. Begging me to understand. Promising to pay it back herself if I just dropped the suit. I forwarded every email to Mitchell. He added them to the case file. Evidence of acknowledgement of wrongdoing. The legal process crawled. Discovery took 3 months. Depositions. Document requests. Back and forth between lawyers. Tyler's lawyer kept filing motions trying to get the case dismissed. Mitchell shot them all down, but it ate up time. Kimberly's lawyer tried a different strategy. Argued emotional distress. Said she'd made a mistake under pressure from a friend's crisis. Tried to paint me as vindictive. Mitchell countered with the fake cancer story and the messages showing premeditation. 5 months in, Tyler finally cracked. His lawyer called Mitchell. Tyler wanted to settle. He'd return what he could and set up payments for the rest. The legal fees were killing him, and his lawyer told him straight up he'd probably lose at trial. Tyler agreed to return the PC equipment he still had. Signed a payment agreement for the cash portion he'd already spent. About $4,000. Mitchell structured it with penalties if he missed payments. $500 a month until paid off. The PC parts got sold for around $5,000 to a local gaming shop. Less than retail, but I wasn't going to wait around for the perfect buyer. Kimberly fought for another 2 months after Tyler settled. Her lawyer tried arguing the joint account meant she had equal rights to the funds. Mitchell buried them with evidence showing my contribution rate and her documented fraud about the medical emergency. Then her lawyer withdrew from the case a week before the hearing. Some dispute over unpaid fees from what I heard. Left her hanging? She showed up to court alone. No lawyer. Looked terrified. The judge read through the case summary. Looked at Kimberly. Asked if she had any defense to present. She tried explaining about helping someone in need. The judge cut her off. Asked if there was actually a cancer patient involved. She admitted there wasn't. Judge's face went cold. So you fabricated a medical emergency to justify taking funds from your joint account that were predominantly contributed by the plaintiff, then transferred those funds to a third party for personal electronics. Is that accurate? I didn't think of it that way. I'm sure you didn't. Judgment for the plaintiff. Full amount plus court costs and interest. You have 90 days to pay, or we start garnishing wages. Kimberly started crying right there in court. Judge didn't care. Banged the gavel. Done. I walked out feeling lighter than I had in 7 months. The whole process from filing to judgment had taken almost 8 months total. Got most of my money back within 90 days through a combination of Kimberly's payment and Tyler's equipment return. Kimberly had to borrow from her parents to cover her portion. Frank called me afterward, said he made her sign a promissory note for the loan. She'd be paying him back for years. Between Tyler's settlement, the PC equipment sale, and Kimberly's forced payment, I recovered about $15,000 total when you factored in the ring I sold later. Not quite the full amount after legal fees, but close enough. Opened a new savings account, one with just my name on it. A few weeks after the court judgment, I was heading to my apartment with Kevin tagging along. Said he wanted to grab something he'd left there. Sure enough, Kimberly was outside waiting. She'd moved out weeks ago during her 30-day notice period. Stayed with a friend. But she'd been texting, asking to talk. I'd ignored them all. Looked like she'd been crying for hours. Mascara everywhere. Eyes red and puffy. The whole wounded dove routine. My dad canceled everything, and he is disowning me, she said. I know. You ruined my life. No. You ruined your own life. I just stopped covering for you. She stood up. Started pacing. Here it comes. The apology tour. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I made one mistake. One. And you're acting like I committed murder. I was just trying to help someone who needed it. I almost laughed. Even now. Even after everything. Still playing the hero card. I wasn't cheating. Tyler's just a friend who was going through stuff. I was being supportive. That's what good people do. They help others. Maybe you should try it sometime. Unbelievable. She was actually trying to guilt trip me. After stealing from our wedding fund and making up a fake cancer patient, the audacity was almost impressive. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. We can fix this. I'll pay you back. I'll cut off Tyler completely. Just please don't throw away 3 years over this. I want my ring back, I told her. Her hand immediately went to her neck. She'd moved it from her finger to a necklace, wearing it like some kind of trophy. No, she said. It's mine. You gave it to me. That makes it mine. I'm keeping it. That ring was contingent on us getting married. Since you decided to fund your ex's gaming career instead of our future, the engagement's off. Ring comes back to me. I earned this ring. 3 years of my life. I'm not giving it back just because you're throwing a tantrum. Earned it. Like our relationship was a job where she clocked in and out. Like putting up with me for 3 years entitled her to a $4,000 consolation prize. You've got one chance to do this the easy way, I said calmly. Give me the ring and we both walk away clean. Never. You want it? Come take it. And then she actually did it. Unclasped the necklace, held the ring up between her fingers, looked me dead in the eye with this smug little smile like she'd just won something, and popped it in her mouth like a pill threatening to swallow it. Then the ring was too big, got stuck right in her throat accidentally. Her eyes went wide, hands flew to her throat, started making these horrible gagging sounds, face turning red, then purple, actually choking on her own spite. Kevin whispered, "Oh, this is wild." But I was genuinely amazed at the depths of her stupidity. Was I really about to watch my ex-fiancée choke on her own engagement ring because she was too petty to hand it over? She stumbled toward me, making frantic gestures at her throat. Universal sign for choking, eyes watering, full panic mode. The same woman who 30 seconds ago was telling me I owed her. Got behind her. Did the Heimlich. Something I learned in a workplace safety course years ago and never thought I'd actually use. First thrust, nothing. Second thrust, nothing. She was making these horrible choking sounds. Real horror movie stuff. Third thrust and the ring shot out like a cork from a champagne bottle, hit the wall with a sharp ting. Kimberly collapsed on the floor coughing and gasping, hands and knees, drool hanging from her mouth in long strings. Real dignified. Really selling that I earned this ring energy. Then she tried to go after the ring while still not breathing. Kevin moved like an Olympic sprinter, dove across the living room, slid on his knees like he was stealing home plate, got to the ring half a second before Kimberly's outstretched hand, scooped it up, held it over his head like the championship trophy. Got it! Kimberly was still wheezing on the floor, reaching for nothing. Kevin tossed me the ring. I wiped it on my shirt, examined it, seemed fine. Little scratched from her teeth, maybe. Definitely covered in spit, but structurally sound. Pocketed it. Thanks for that display, I said. Real mature. You're horrible, she wheezed between coughs. I could have died. You could have just handed me the ring like an adult. This is abuse. You're abusing me. I actually laughed at that one. Couldn't help it. I saved your life. You tried to steal my ring. I'm the abuser. Got it. That makes total sense. Kevin was still on the floor grinning. I have never seen someone choke on their own bad decisions before. That was beautiful. Kimberly had to borrow from her parents to pay me back. Found out later from a mutual friend that her dad Frank made her sign a promissory note for every penny. Turned his own daughter into a debtor. She'd be paying him back for years at whatever interest rate he set. Probably high. Frank didn't seem like the forgiving type after what she'd pulled. Between everything, Tyler's payments, the PC equipment sale, Kimberly's court-ordered payment, and selling the ring, I ended up recovering about $15,000. Not quite ahead after legal fees ate into it, but I got most of what was mine back. Opened a new savings account, one with just my name on it. Watched that balance grow without worrying about it disappearing. Started hitting the gym again, something I'd let slide during wedding planning. Got back into a routine, 5 days a week. Felt good to focus on myself for once instead of funding someone else's fantasy life. Lost 15 pounds, put on some muscle, got my head straight, moved into a better apartment 6 weeks later. 1 bedroom, top floor, just me and some peace and quiet. No drama, no lies, no joint accounts, just my space and my stuff and my money. Set it up exactly how I wanted. Gaming setup in the living room, good TV, comfortable couch. Everything I'd been putting off because Kimberly wanted to save for the wedding. Meanwhile, Kimberly's life imploded in ways I couldn't have scripted better if I tried. Tyler apparently lost his mind after finding that Kimberly was engaged the whole time. Blew up Kimberly's phone. She tried explaining it away. Said we were broken up. Said it was complicated. Said she was going to tell him eventually. He didn't buy any of it. Called her every name in the book. Told her to never contact him again. Blocked her on everything. Her family was done with her too. Frank cut her off after she paid back the lawsuit money. Said she was on her own. Needed to learn responsibility. Her mom sided with Frank. Said what Kimberly did was unforgivable. Stealing was one thing, but lying about cancer crossed a line they couldn't overlook. They still talked to her, but the relationship was ice cold. No more family dinners. No more help with rent. Nothing. Kimberly had to move in with roommates. 3 of them in a 2-bedroom apartment. Went from planning a wedding to sleeping on a pull-out couch in someone's living room. Her Instagram went from engagement photos and wedding planning to complete radio silence. Just stopped posting entirely. Even Harper dumped her as a friend. The same Harper whose mom supposedly had cancer. Turns out Harper found out Kimberly had been using her name to cover up fraud. Wasn't thrilled about being made into a fake cancer patient's daughter. Cut Kimberly off completely. Told their mutual friends what happened. Kimberly's entire social circle evaporated. Last I heard through the grapevine, she was working retail and could barely make rent. Tyler kept making his monthly payments like clockwork. Never missed one. Probably out of spite. Every payment a reminder of what she'd done. 6 months after the whole mess settled, I matched with this girl Luna on a dating app. She was a nurse. Had her life together. No red flags in her profile. We grabbed coffee that weekend. She showed up on time wearing scrubs because she'd just finished a shift. Apologized for not being dressed up. I told her scrubs were fine. Meant she had an actual job. We talked for 3 hours. She paid for her own coffee without making it a statement. Just did it. We went out again 2 days later. Then again that weekend. Within a month we were seeing each other regularly. No games, no drama. Just 2 adults who liked spending time together. She met Kevin at a bar one night when we all went out. Kevin pulled me aside later and said this one seemed normal. High praise coming from him after watching the Kimberly disaster unfold. 3 months in, Luna stayed over at my place most nights. 6 months in, she basically lived there, but kept her own apartment. Said she liked having her own space. I respected that. No pushing, no joint accounts. Just took things as they came. Then Kimberly decided to make an appearance. Luna's phone buzzed during breakfast one morning. She checked it. Frowned. Looked at me weird. Do you know someone named Kimberly? Yeah, my ex. Why? She just sent me a message on Instagram. I put down my coffee. What did it say? Luna handed me her phone. Long message. Kimberly introducing herself as my fiancée. Said I was cheating on her. That we were still together. That I was playing Luna. Attached old photos of us together. Couple shots. The engagement ring. Everything designed to look convincing. Luna was watching my face. Is that true? No. We broke up over a year ago. She stole money from me. I sued her. Got it back. Haven't talked to her since. She says you're engaged. We were. Past tense. She ended that when she took money from our wedding fund and gave it to her ex for a gaming computer. Luna blinked. What? I showed her the screenshots I still had saved. The lawsuit documents, the court judgment, Tyler's payment schedule, everything. Laid it all out right there on my kitchen counter. Took 15 minutes to walk through the whole timeline. Luna read through it all. Didn't say anything for a while. Then looked up at me. So, she's stalking you now? Looks like it. And she found me how? Probably through my social media. Tagged photos, maybe. Luna was quiet for a minute. Processing. This is a lot. Like you have a legitimately crazy ex who's contacting women you date. That's concerning. I know. I should have warned you this might happen. Yeah, you probably should have. She wasn't angry, but she wasn't happy either. How long has she been doing this? You're the first person I've dated since her. So this is new. Luna set her phone down. I'm going to block her, but I need you to be honest with me. Is there any chance she's going to show up at my apartment? My work? Because I deal with enough crazy at the hospital. I don't think so. She knows I'll get a restraining order if she escalates. You might need to do that anyway if she keeps this up. Luna looked at me seriously. I like you, but I'm not signing up for an ex-girlfriend drama. If this becomes a pattern, we need to address it. Agreed. If she contacts you again, we go to the police. I'll file for a restraining order. Luna nodded. Blocked Kimberly. Went back to eating breakfast, but the mood was different. Less relaxed. Over the next week, Kimberly tried messaging Luna from 2 other accounts. Luna screenshot each one and showed me, getting more frustrated each time. This is harassment. I knew I needed to do something about this. I filed for a restraining order that Friday. Had to go through the whole process. Documentation. Court appearance. The judge granted it after seeing the evidence of Kimberly contacting Luna multiple times after being blocked. Luna seemed relieved when I showed her the order. Good. Maybe now she'll back off. She did, mostly. Tried one more message to Luna's mom on Facebook a month later, trying to blow things up. Her mom screenshot it and sent it to Luna asking who this person was. Luna explained, her mom blocked Kimberly. We kept dating. Things got more serious. Moved in together officially after about 14 months. She gave up her apartment. We got a bigger place with 2 bathrooms because she said sharing one was where relationships went to die. Smart woman. 2 years after that breakfast where Kimberly first tried to sabotage us, I took Luna to the same coffee shop where we first met. She figured it out halfway through when I got weird and quiet. Started smiling before I even got the ring out. Proposed right there at our original table. She said yes before I finished the question. We set a date for next fall. Small wedding. Just family and close friends. Everything paid for up front. No joint accounts until after we're married. She insisted on that herself. Said she understood why I was cautious. No drama about it. The restraining order against Kimberly expired, but she never contacted us again. Heard through mutual friends that she'd moved to a different city. New job. Trying to start over. Still paying her dad back. Still dealing with the consequences. Tyler finished his payment plan after 2 years. Last payment came through on schedule. Never heard from him again after that. Life moved forward. Got better. Not perfect, but better. And that was enough. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.